last year for Comic-Con, there was something we were very excited for.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Crisis on Infinite Earths. And it was a classic storyline being adapted to the CW. Now, I had not read Crisis on Infinite Earths, and when they announced it, I got it for like my birthday, and I immediately put it away because I was like, no, I'm going to wait until after I see the TV special because I didn't want spoilers.
Yeah.
And and so I watched the special, did not like it, so that made me even put off even more. But I think it was when we knew we were going to do a comic episode of this, I said, okay, finally going to read Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I read it, and I was like, and the whole time I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Wow.
So, yes. So it begins the same way as the TV version, where it talks about how there was the multiverse, and we see the destruction of the multiverse. And it really goes back to part one of the TV special is great, and then the rest aren't very good. But a lot of the cool stuff from the comic is in part one, and then there's some stuff sprinkled throughout the TV crossover, but most of the I'll give them credit. They had a lot of the memorable moments from the comic in there, which are just good YouTube clips. But still, I can appreciate that a lot of the good stuff is in there. But what they had is they had it where they were bringing together the heroes of Earth 1 and Earth 2, which at the time, there was the versions from the 40s and 50s teaming up with the versions from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Basically, think of it like George Reeves teaming up with Christopher Reeve, or Linda Carter teaming up with Gal Gadot, stuff like that. And it was them coming together to try to save as many worlds as they could. But what I really loved was the moment where all the multiverse gets smashed together, and then Clark Kent, the older Superman from the 40s, he's basically, the way you can tell the difference is he has like gray streaks in his hair.
Yeah.
He goes to the Daily Planet and he meets the current Clark Kent. And he's like, "Wait, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?" And then the real Clark, has to explain, "Oh yeah, he's my uncle who I was named after, also named Clark Kent." So it ends with like. The thing I loved about it was seeing all these characters interact, and we had such a big threat in the Anti-Monitor, and it was really because unlike like the TV crossover where it was, I'm gonna go meet Tom Welling chopping wood. Hi, Tom Welling, gone. Or hi, I'm gonna meet Kevin Conroy. Let's talk in the Batcave. Okay, goodbye, Kevin Conroy. This was, they're all together. They're all fighting side by side. And it ends with basically there's only the Anti-Monitor has to be defeated because he's about to destroy the last like Earth of the multiverse. And who is the last person to face him, do you think? Who makes the most sense to face him?
I don't know.
Take a wild guess.
Let's see here.
If this is the end, who makes the most sense to face him?
Steppenwolf.
No, Steppenwolf isn't there. It's the Superman from the 40s comics, the original Superman. So the Anti-Monitor, the only one who can defeat him is the original Superman from 1938. So it ends with him defeating him. He thinks that his Lois has died, and then it turns out that a Lex Luthor from another Earth saved her. So I was just reading it, and I haven't read a lot of the Silver Age comics because this was basically the finale to the era of comics of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, they did a really good it basically it felt like this big event, and we saw they did a really good job of show with the deaths of Supergirl and Flash, where like, and I'm pretty sure you remember that confusing scene in Batman versus Superman where Flash is like going to Bruce in a dream saying, Bruce. Oh, yeah. I was like, I bet Snyder got that from Crisis, because that there's a scene where that happens.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, you know what? For not being a very good TV crossover, it was a very good comic. So, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh.
I had not read it, but man, did it live up to the hype.
They did it right in that form.
Yes. Hopefully one day, maybe we can get an animated version, because I think I would still say if we had to have a live action version of Crisis, I would want the CW writers to do it. I'm just like, if they couldn't do it, no one could do it. So I'm just like, maybe they can do it in animated form. I don't really care about in live action, but maybe one day we can get an animation, because you could do it. Because it's not like they're meeting a bunch of different characters. There's a Silver Age meeting the Golden Age. So basically, you would just need to meet one other Superman, one other Flash, one other Batman. So,
yeah. Sounds cool.
Yes, it was very cool. And the sequel, Infinite Crisis, maybe I'll mention it later, is my favorite kind of these blockbuster events that DC's ever done from 2006. So, yeah, if you were not a fan of the Crisis CW crossover, check out, man, Marv Wolfman. He did a great job. And he did have a cameo in the TV special.
Oh, really?
The writer. And you know what?
Yeah.
He had one of the best cameos. You know why? Because he goes up to ask for Flash and Supergirl's autograph, and he's the one who tells them, oh, yeah, you two, you've been on the same Earth this whole time, which they weren't. So his cameo actually added to the plot.
Oh.
Unlike literally any of the other ones.
Oh. That's funny.
Yeah, so there we go. And once again, the first episode of the crossover is great. The other one's not so much, although there's some cool moments in there you can look up on YouTube.
Yeah.
But, oh, man. I remember, like, I'd be reading it at, like, 2 a.m. being like, but I need to know what happens next.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
That's a way to know that you got something good there.